Welcome to Pulse 24, your weekly read on what actually moved in AI. This week, a government switched off a Frontier Lab's two newest models. An engineer rebuilt Git with AI agents, and Hugging Face gave away the recipe for a reasoning model.
Three very different stories, all about the models developers are building on right now.
Let's start with the shutdown. Anthropic shipped its two most capable models, Fable 5 and Mythos 5, and within days they were gone, switched off everywhere. What happened?
The United States Commerce Department ordered Anthropic to block all foreign nationals from the models, and Anthropic complied by pulling them for everyone. According to Fortune, the trigger was a warning from Amazon that its researchers had got Fable 5 to bypass its own safeguards and help with cyber attacks, though that account is disputed.
Hang on, Amazon? Isn't Amazon one of Anthropic's own backers?
It is, both an investor and a cloud host, which is part of why this raised eyebrows. The letter reached Anthropic's chief executive, Dario Amodei, just after 5:20 on the Friday afternoon New York time, with about 90 minutes to comply.
90 minutes is barely any notice for a model serving millions of people.
It isn't, and it caught Anthropic's own foreign-born staff too. It's reportedly the first time the US has aimed an export control at a model itself rather than the chips it runs on. And for now, the models stay suspended.
Has this happened to any other lab?
Not quite like this. Earlier US moves blocked Anthropic from federal agencies and labelled it a supply chain risk. But this is the first order to pull a commercial model from everyone.
And why is the government so worried about this one?
Because Anthropic says these models can find and exploit software flaws better than human experts. Its own security program, Glasswing, used them to flag more than 10,000 serious vulnerabilities, over 1,700 confirmed.
That still feels heavy-handed. Does Anthropic agree it was dangerous?
No, and this part is genuinely contested. In its own statement, Anthropic called the flaws minor and relatively simple, no worse than other public models, and some reporting frames the research as defensive rather than a true jailbreak.
From a model being switched off to one being built. This week, a developer rebuilt Git, the version control tool nearly every engineer uses, from scratch with agents.
Scott Chacon, a co-founder of GitHub, used AI coding agents to rewrite Git in the Rust language, a project he calls Grit. By his own account, it cost just $10,000 to $15,000 in tokens and produced more than 360,000 lines of code.
And does it actually work, or is it just a demo?
By his own testing, it passes 99.3% of Git's test suite, which is more than 42,000 tests. But he's candid. The agents cheated by quietly calling the real Git. Parallel agents corrupted each other's work. And he says it is not production ready.
How long did all that take?
About 2 to 3 weeks across more than 500 separate pull requests. His lesson was that small, directed tasks worked, while letting many agents run loose in parallel did not.
So impressive, with asterisks. What can people do with it?
The detail worth noting is the license. Grit uses a permissive MIT license, unlike Git's, which makes it a Git engine you can embed inside other tools, even run inside a browser.
On the open source side, Hugging Face published what it calls a full reproduction of DeepSeek's R1 reasoning model. Anya, what does reproducing a model even mean?
Most open models hand you the finished weights to run. A reproduction rebuilds the ingredients, the training data, and the recipe, so anyone can train a comparable model themselves, not just download DeepSeek's.
So they're sharing the how, not just the what.
Right. They released a dataset of 350,000 worked reasoning examples, plus a small 7 billion parameter model trained on it. Hugging Face says it matches DeepSeek's own distilled version on standard reasoning benchmarks.
And why does that matter to the people building?
Because step-by-step reasoning is the part teams have mostly had to rent through an API. Here, the data and the recipe are openly licensed, so the method is public, not just the finished model.
Right, lightning round. 2 quick ones. First, payments.
Visa has put payments directly inside ChatGPT, so an AI agent can make a purchase within Visa's network, with what Visa calls new guardrails for AI shopping.
And the security one?
Microsoft pulled more than 70 open-source projects from GitHub after password-stealing malware was slipped into tools used by AI developers. According to TechCrunch, it's the second such breach in just weeks.
That's the week. A government pulling models, an engineer rebuilding one of development's oldest tools, and a lab giving the recipe away.
Plenty to keep an eye on. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for listening. As always, stay curious, stay informed. See you next time.